What's up everyone, Keontae Marone here. Today's video I'm going to be talking about 5 camera movements that will help make your film or whatever you're working on more cinematic, but this time it's on a budget. Originally I actually had this idea when I was making a video. I was supposed to make a short film and of course it's still going to come out, but the location right now is closed. And meanwhile, I felt like I needed to make something. I didn't want to sit back and be like, okay, well, I don't have nothing to make, therefore I won't make nothing for a month. So I decided, you know what, I came in here, this is my studio room, and I came in here and I seen a slider I had in here. I bought this slider actually for Through My Veins. And the funny thing is, the actor who I'm using for today's video is Anthony. Well, his name is Leo2Official, that's his artist name, but that's my cousin. And we're using him again. Funny thing is, we used the 2 same shots that were used in the video Through My Veins. So we ended up using the same slider for that one for today's video. I was filming a video for my mom's CPR training for her website, and while doing so I realized I left my tripod at home. Now of course I wasn't going to go back and drive all the way back here. I had to go buy a tripod from a local Walmart. So in doing so, I bought another tripod, so now I have 2. While I came back home, I seen the slider. I was like, oh yeah, slider, you can put 2 tripods on there and that's how you can use the movement. And I did that right here, and I was like, you know what? Let me make a video about this and camera movements on a budget. I bought it for like $36 off of eBay. And of course, just like anything, somebody's not using it, they're gonna sell it. And I always go for the auctions because I'm gonna either win or lose. It's just as simple as that. That's what an auction is, you win or lose it. And in this case, I got a $36 slider and I can use that slider for a lot of things. It's a win-win for me. So that's why it's on a budget, and that's how I decided that I'm gonna choose several camera movements to make a short film. Now the main thing here that's important is pre-production, aka what is a story you're trying to tell. In this case, Valentine's Day was 2 days ago. Today's February 16th. If you can't do math, there you go. I just did the math for you. But pretty much saying that I came up with the story with Valentine's Day, something with love, or something with loneliness. So I decided, you know what? As messed up as it is, we went with a sense of a heartbreak. So how can we use these camera movements to kind of represent that or show it? For the 5 camera movements that we're going to talk about, I ended up using the tracking shot, push in, the static shot, trucking shot, as well as the zoom in, all to emphasize the feelings of the story. So it's very important to know which shots and which movements are going to apply to the story, not simply just for show. So here we go. We're going to talk about these 5 camera movements are going to help emphasize and show off your story. Now with camera movements, in this case, we're talking about the tracking shot. Tracking shot in film is always something that follows a character. Usually I do like tracking shots, and they're typically seen for long takes or long shots, meaning something that is filmed all in one take. With long takes, it takes rehearsal, aka blocking or character blocking, meaning you have to give your character or characters some sense of movement to show that it's not really a sense of static. That's why you have the thing of tracking. You're following that person throughout an environment and throughout a scene. An example of blocking or of a long take, we can talk about a film called 1917, directed by Sam Mendes and filmed by your boy Roger Deakins. And in that case, the whole film is made to look like it takes place in one day, essentially. If you don't know about this movie, go watch it. And I don't want to get spoilers, I don't want to get too much context, but of course, the main thing is, like I said, it looks like it's taking place in one day, meaning every single shot is planned out, head to toe. I just have to use head to toe, I don't know, it just came in my head. But from beginning to end in regards to framing to make it look like it was done in one take. Of course, there's like cuts in between that you have to really pay attention to, and they're really smart about way of doing it. But essentially that is, in that case, a tracking shot, the long take, and that's the preparation that goes into that type of shot. In this case, I went with something simple. Walk into the apartment, going ahead and throw away the flowers, go into the room, get in a coat, and leaving. That's something that's done in one take. It took a couple shots, of course, because you gotta go for not a perfect shot. I'm not David Fincher, but at the same time, you kind of want to get it as best as you can, whatever you can do. And in this case, I used the slider. I used 2 tripods that go underneath it to hold it up to keep it steady. I just used tape so I could mark the points that I wanted to start off and where I wanted to end at. And it was pretty much as simple as that. So for the second camera movement, I used the push in. I use it because I want to emphasize you going in, you're getting pushed into the moment of him throwing away the flowers in the trash. Essentially, it kind of is an insert shot, because I use a tracking shot and I'm throwing in him throwing the flowers away so you can see, you know, it's bad and heartbreak. So I ended up using a camera push in so then you can really see and emphasize the throwaway of feelings, or throwing away the flowers that represent some sense of love. The main thing of a push in is to emphasize a moment, whether it's a character going through something and you're getting their reaction to something and you're really going into their thought process. But in this case, like I said, it's just to really emphasize something so simple yet effective in regards to storytelling, to push in to have you really emphasize and bask in that moment and how he feels. The third camera movement I used was the zoom out. Usually in film, the zoom in or the zoom out motion is used by a zoom lens, and it's used to pretty much emphasize or go ahead and to focus in or focus out of a character, whether it's emotions out of a situation, or at the same time it could be used for documentary use, usually for a run and gun situation. But in this case, I wanted to use it to show Anthony being pulled out of the relationship and the beginning of isolation. Dang, that's depressing. If you want to use Epidemic sound, they allow you 30 days for the free trial to try it out and test it out. Now, if you're like me, you might mess around, forget, and then you start seeing that you got charged. But in this case, you won't mind being charged because it's such a useful and easy process of using the service that you're going to end up eventually liking it. But if not, all good. 30 days to test out to see how you like it. In this case, you can go ahead and click the referral link in the description if you want to go ahead and try it out for these 30 days. I'm telling you, you're going to end up liking it. But besides that, let's get back to the video. The fourth camera movement we're going to talk about is the trucking shot, which is essentially kin or a sibling to the tracking shot. In this case, it's kind of a following of the character from the side. In this case, we use the trucking shot to show Anthony going down the hill, going for his ride and when he get picked up. For example, the trucking shot could be seen in the film The Graduate, where Benjamin is going down. I just found out what it's called. Travelator. You know, the airports, you have the little sliding escalator kind of thing. That will be used as a trucking shot, as it follows Benjamin going slowly but surely to his destination, kind of dreading that feeling of where he's going back home. So in that case, that is an example of the trucking shot, essentially from the side, following and sliding and going along with the character. So the fifth and last movement we're going to talk about is the static shot. An example of the static movement used in film, I immediately think about Wes Anderson's film. Like I brought up in the beginning, typically a tracking shot, in order to make it work, in some cases for a long take, you will use movement. The static shot in Wes Anderson's films is pretty much him using the characters to go ahead and walk around and show some sense of movement in the frame, yet have the camera being still. In this case, I use the camera being still to emphasize the moment, the isolation that the character may feel in being in tranquility. And the moment, whether it's thinking about the past or thinking about the future, it allows the character to be isolated, to be stuck in the moment, and that's pretty much what I want to emphasize in this case. So that's going to close out the video. Thank you all for watching, and shout out to Isaiah for not only the behind the scenes, but the location scouting. I asked him if he knew an area that was vast and like had a big amount of field to make the character feel isolated, and he knew immediately. So that's two birds in one stone. So shout out to Isaiah, and shout out to Anthony for being the actor in this case. This is all shot in one day. Everything went smooth, and the only thing is I left the tripod for the car mount at home, and when I found that out, I was very stuck. But what they always say, the best moments, or some of the best moments, is improv. You have to improv for cases where things don't work out. So I decided, dangerously, I'm going to just go ahead and handhold it. And I'm going to be honest, that was very stressful. Of course, it was very stressful to do that and hold the camera hanging out the window, but it worked. It worked for the moment. Now I will be sure to keep a tripod head and keep that on me at all times if I ever want to do a car mount. I won't let it happen again. Thank you all for watching the video. I hope you all learned something from this, and have a great and blessed day, month, year. Have a good one. Take care. Peace.